2 generations, 1 mic, 0 filters, and those were
Surely that
yeah,
wasn't
again,
voices.
this is raising each other, and it is unedited, and that's exactly what you get what you get, and I hit record.
Sorry, headphone users. Me and Carly are over here trying to deep throat the mic.
Oh my gosh, it's always an adventure with you 2.
Obviously, we have a special guest star again.
Yes.
I'm just so special. I'm here all the time.
But because she's just had so much fun during all the other episodes she's been on, we've kind of wrangled her in. But again, it's we get her when we get her. She's not a regular, but she's a regular right now. So
You're just blessed with all the Stevens girls.
yes, I am. I'm truly blessed. Um, so again, gonna take this moment to remind you to go like us on all of the social medias. Well, not all of them. We have a Facebook and we have an Instagram. We might eventually get a TikTok. Who knows? We're just winging this. As previously stated, we just do what we do, and you get what you get. So, listen or don't. That's where we're at. We're just having way too much fun to stop. So go like us there. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and
Wherever you listen to your music
wherever you
and
listen to your
podcasts.
podcast. I don't know how to, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the other ways of listening. I know we're on YouTube and Amazon and something else, but I don't know how, like, if is that a follow thing or
Yeah, I don't know.
whatever. Follow us.
Like us. Clearly, Mom is not the social media manager. No, she's like the analytics manager.
Yeah. Like I watch our views and our
I text
streams
her like
and our
every day. I'm like,
downloads.
okay, how many do we have listened?
And it's really cool because you can like look at the age groups of like who's listening and
And you said the
like I can't see
countries.
specific people that are listening, but I can see like the age groups and the how many streams and downloads per day and the countries that it's in and if it's male or female or non-binary or unspecified or whatever. um all of that I can see that information. But yep, it's been fun. So here we are. um Today we're gonna talk about something that Abigail and I have already gotten into a pretty
Heated, not heated,
not
but
heated,
deep.
deep.
A deep conversation about. So this could be a potentially could be a longer episode.
It potentially could be a longer episode because we got into some deep conversation about this, and there's lots of rabbit holes we could go down because it all actually started with talking about religion, um, and God and all of that. That's a whole separate episode, but um the topic is reincarnation that we're going to talk about. And Abigail had a very interesting way of describing to me the other day on what she believes happens when we die.
Okay, I wouldn't say I'm a firm believer and this is what happens because I think that there's rights and wrongs to what everybody believes. Like, okay, yeah, that could be true, but I'm also like very skeptical. So like I don't even know what I believe. I'm just like, oh, this could, it could be a thing.
Oh yeah, like it's a
Like I'm
viable
it's
option.
not that I'm like I fully believe reincarnation is true or I'm a full-blown Christian or whatever. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's viable. That could be true.
Yeah.
But this all started because I was talking to Mom about have Carly, we're gonna include you in this. Have you ever? Well, that's great because it's my podcast. Have you ever heard stories of like people have kids and their kids can like detailed recollect like a specific event that happened? Like, uh, example, if I was a kid and I was 5 years old, never heard about World War II, and all of a sudden I was explaining to you in detail, like, yeah, I remember when my friend Adam got blown up by the bombs, and we were all fighting in war, and you've never told me about World War II, you would probably shit your pants, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I have because I think somebody was on like Dr. Phil. Isn't that the guy, the like bald guy that sits in a chair and like people go on a show and everything? And I think somebody like that was on there. Their kid, same situation. It was like the kid was recollecting something from like the war, or somebody like his friend got blown up or something like that, and it's like, where the hell did that come from?
I've heard several stories about people with younger kids um recalling specific events from 9/11 that they would have never been there. So how do they know? Like, how does a
Like,
6 or 7-year-old know that people like jumped out of window? Like, it's
because
stuff
like
that you wouldn't learn
right,
right
because like
away.
when you're teaching your kids about 9/11, okay, once you get older you can understand like the severity of it, but when you're a kid you're just taught like this is a really devastating day, our country was attacked, we're okay, but like it was a lot of people died that day. You don't tell them people were jumping out of windows and like that kind of thing. So how are people recollect like kids recollecting that when they weren't even there to hear about it?
And what's really scary to me, and well, not scary, but like weird about that, is that like 9/11, I mean, it was
T-
25 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. Like, so it's kids being like, 4 and 5 or whatever now, and that was only for them like 20 years ago. Like,
Right,
it's not a current event, but it was not that long ago.
right. So that got us on this topic of
Reincarnation.
reincarnation.
Like, what if instead of like people dying and going to heaven or hell or wherever, when people say like, oh, I like, oh, you go into the light or whatever, it's actually you coming out of the birth canal in your new life.
And I think that is so interesting. And it doesn't, it's not even with like humans. Like, you could come back as,
An elephant.
yeah, you're just born into this new life. Like, you never really leave this world. And it doesn't necessarily mean like that God doesn't exist, right? Some, like, I do believe in like a greater power, but it's just what happens when we die. Is there really a heaven? And like, or do you just come back to this world as something else? Like, a lot of people we talked about believe that cardinals, like when you see a cardinal, it's a sign that a loved one is near. Um, but it could be anything.
Which with that is really weird because, like, yeah, I do believe that we come back as cardinals, or maybe some people, get chosen as cardinals, because I remember um recently, we had a family member pass, and like next to my truck a cardinal would sit almost every single day, and I would watch it out my window. I'm like, that is somebody watching me. Like, they're sitting, it was cardinal sit on my truck at my old apartment every single day. I have videos of it. It would sit there, or and like look at itself in the mirror, and then hop over to my tailgate, and then whatever. And then coincidentally enough, I ended up wrecking my truck, and I ended up, walking away just fine. And I'm like, oh my god, did that cardinal? Like, I could cry talking about it. Like, did that cardinal? Was that a family member? And it was blessing me somehow when I got into my accident. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. And yeah, and cardinals are a very common one that people relate to past loved ones, but I really think it could be anything.
Yeah, like not just a cardinal.
Right. Last night there was a fox laying in our yard, just laying, chilling out in our backyard. If you know anything about foxes, they don't usually just like lay down and chill in the middle of the backyard, but it was last night. Like, is that, you know, a family member or a loved one from the past, even before like us? Because I mean, think about how many people have had to exist to like for us to be here. That's
Mhm.
a whole nother topic. Um, so when you die, I think it's a very viable option to believe that at the moment you take your last breath,
And the whole like you replay, like I've heard like you replay like, for like 7 minutes you replay like your whole life. And what if you're just forgetting all of that and you go into the light and you're being born into a new life and you just forget everything? But sometimes that malfunctions and you remember certain things, and that's why kids can recall all of these memories that they should not have.
yes. And um, as we previously discussed too, like people that have like crazy phobias, like really like crazy, like they are terrified, deathly terrified of birds, for example. Like, to me, that's kind of like silly to be afraid of birds, but why are you afraid of birds? Was it something in a previous life form that affected you and
Yeah,
you
like,
don't
were
even
you a
know?
mouse and got killed by a bird and, like, that memory just didn't leave, and so now you're afraid of birds? But maybe in your next life, you'll totally forget about it, so it you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like you mentioned, like if you're really good at math and how that could carry over into a next life, but you don't know that. Something that you're really, really talented in was something that maybe you were good at in a previous form. Um, I just think it's really interesting to think about because I think it's definitely like it could be that we come back as either something else, but it would like for it to make sense in my brain, like as soon as any living creature dies,
Hmm.
which is happening constantly, something else is being born.
Yeah.
And do so if I would pass like right now, whatever is being born, whether it's a baby human or a baby elephant or a baby monkey or whatever, that energy goes into that and
Right.
that becomes my new life form.
Right.
What's the movie you mentioned? A Dog's Purpose?
Hmm.
Kind of similar to that
I
where
can't watch that.
yeah, because it's like the dog at the end knew the trick from the dog in the beginning and it was like yeah, it was the same dog just in a different.
Yeah, and I believe like pets are like our pets were something at some point because the way they have attitudes and the way that they are and how each of them are different, like you can't tell me they weren't a human at one point. Like
Y-
they were maybe a passed on human, like you were mentioning, and for whatever reason my dogs were came to me for a reason, and they were human at one point because Ryder is so sassy.
yeah,
Like he got that attitude somewhere.
yeah, and it does go back to the whole nature versus nurture discussion that Abigail and I were in about that. Some things, talking about phobias. Okay, some of that can be explained by current life experiences. Maybe you were attacked by birds when you were 5, so you definitely have a terrified view,
Trauma.
trauma with birds. Because I've seen people that will completely like reroute the way they're walking down the street
Hmm.
in a foreign country to avoid pigeons. And to be that afraid of something just seems so
Not right.
intense. So unless you've had a prior experience, where did that phobia come from?
Right.
And Abigail also made mention of
Birthmarks.
yes.
Like, people who have, like, some crazy ass birthmarks. What explain that.
Yeah, Carly's one
Explain
of
how
them.
like, okay, you have a birthmark on your side, right?
Hmm.
What if in a past life you were stabbed and that's how you have a birthmark right there?
That freaks me out.
Yeah. And maybe maybe you were a human and you got stabbed right there.
Or what if I was an elephant and like somebody threw a spear at me?
Yeah. And it just shows up in this life form with
A
a very
birthmark.
prominent birthmark.
Yeah, because like birthmarks aren't like something like they're not like hereditary. Like you don't have one on your side. Abigail doesn't have one on her side. Dad doesn't have one on his side.
No.
Like I have the one on my side. I've always had it.
Yeah, and it makes you special.
And like when you get hurt, obviously you have a wound and it heals and it scars. And so yeah, it can shrink down, but maybe that you always have it and that's why your birthmark is like not perfect because it's just the way that your body healed it. What about freckles? Now those are just because
We
of
determined that. We already hashed that
like
out.
those can be genetic. Typically they're genetic, I
Yeah,
feel like.
they're just spots on your face. Those aren't like birthmarks. Like
You had paint thrown at you.
Yeah, we did talk about freckles, but those aren't really like birthmarks. Those are like hereditary. Like that's like, do you have brown hair? Do you have blonde hair? That's just
Yeah.
a genetic thing. Um, it's just a very crazy thing to talk about. And I'm with you, Abigail. Like, I'm not sure, like, it's 100% what I believe, but I think I would like to believe that because I mean, maybe what we should be praying for every day is that when we come back in our next life form, um, we're something good. We're something that's going to bring good to the world.
I want to be like a squirrel.
I think it would be fun to be a hoot owl if I was to come back as
Mhm.
something.
I
I
just want to
just
be a
think that would be
squirrel and
fun.
like I kind of want to be a terror.
Of course you do. Like, I just think it's something to think about. Obviously none of it can be proven.
Or
Um,
like an animal in the zoo. Like
yeah.
I'd want to be like a zoo animal and like I'd like be a bad zoo animal.
I think I would want to come back as Emmett. Emmett is Abigail's wiener dog. Um, he's kind of a baby.
Yeah, he is. He's got the spots to match.
Yeah, or because I wouldn't want to be like a homeless dog,
Yeah, I know. Sitting in the pound.
but you don't get to pick. It's whatever's dying at the time or whatever's being born at the time you're dying that needs that energy. So, again, I don't know that I totally believe it.
But I think it's like viable because how else do you explain that people are able to recall memories that they never experienced and like deja vu? When
Yeah,
you
we
get
did
deja vu
like when you walk into some place and you're like, "Oh, I think I've been here before."
and your brain just automatically says, "Oh, I saw it in a movie. I saw it in a picture." Well, what if you didn't? Maybe you literally lived in that town before and you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, and there's no way to prove it, but I think it's really fun to think about.
And nobody can tell you if it's true or not because nobody knows what happens when you die because you can't talk to anybody that's dead.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I was just gonna say, kind of on the same topic, like when you die, like there's this new thing I saw, and I think I've had the conversation with both of you before, but when you die, like people are being made into like mulch.
Yes.
Like instead of like cemeteries are kind of becoming a thing of the past. Like people are being made into like fertilizer or mulch or whatever. It's like this whole process.
I'm definitely for that.
Like, and then they put the mulch by like a tree. Because, like, they say you
Mhm.
can plant a tree for a life or whatever, like people do that on their obituaries and whatever. But I think that would be definitely a better way than I'd rather that happen to me than being buried somewhere. I'd also be okay with being cremated. Yes, I was thinking crematory, but like that's what it is. Like,
Yes, and I feel that same way too. I don't want when I leave this earth, I don't want my physical body like being buried. Like I would be cool like coming back as mulch.
I just feel like all due respect, but I just feel like cemeteries are a waste of space.
They kind of are. They really are.
And what you go there to just sit there and be sad about the person that's dead? Like why would you not sprinkle them somewhere that like had an impact on you? Like if you die, mom, I'm going to go sprinkle you in Ireland.
That would be
I
great.
was just gonna say that me and Abby would take a trip to the Cliffs of Moher, and you'd be thrown off the side.
Yeah.
We're going to throw you off the edge, bitch.
No, but I think that's awesome. And that's how I want to be disposed of. I mean, because
But
all that's left is my physical my box that
like,
I'm living life in.
I'd probably keep some of you, like, and then put you like on my shelf somewhere. But then some of you I would take and throw you off the cliffs of Moher.
Okay.
But like I get how cemeteries became a thing cuz like obviously in the olden days they how
Didn't
else did you get rid of a body? I mean, you really didn't want to feed your mom to the wolves. So you buried it. Like I get that.
It's a
yeah.
respect thing.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have graves of. Do we have graves of like George Washington's grandma? Like, where's she buried?
George Washington's grandma. Ooh, good question.
Like George Washington, isn't he buried somewhere in D.C.? Or that's
S- Yeah,
right?
I'm
I
sure.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, somewhere in that vicinity.
yeah, yeah. We need to brush up on our American history.
We need to go to DC for a
But no,
weekend.
like, but yeah, like his grandma. But his grandma probably was like in
But like, did his
England.
Yeah, but like
where is
she.
that where he came from? I don't. Hold on.
Sorry, all history junkies.
Anyway, no matter where they came from, is she just buried on like the side of the trail that they took with their little wagons to go places before they fought in war? Like, surely she's not buried anywhere important.
Can somebody leave us a
Please
comment?
locate George
Can
Washington's grandma.
we need to know where George Washington's grandma is buried?
Because
No.
they didn't make it a big thing. I mean, maybe they made a little wooden cross, but surely that thing's blown over, snapped, decomposed by now.
Yeah.
So
And like it doesn't
like she was
matter.
special. She was part of George Washington, but like
But like but it's just the body. And, like
yeah,
once your soul leaves your body, like your body doesn't matter. It's just it's just your physical who
shit.
Yeah,
cares?
it's just a stone sitting in the ground in your body in a wooden casket.
Well,
Like,
your energy that lives inside of you has gone on
To be
and
a monkey.
to be something else.
But like why and people that spend so much money on these caskets,
Yeah, it's stupid.
stupid. You're never gonna fucking see it anyway. It goes 6 feet under in a
Right.
vault.
Right. So burn me, turn me into mulch. I'm good with all that when
Yeah,
I
I
die.
don't. But because cemeteries are a waste of space. Period.
I'm gonna agree
But
with you on that.
we'll never dig them up, and because they're like holy ground.
Yeah,
But no, no, we could be doing so many better things with graveyards.
yeah. If we just burned
If we just
people.
burnt bodies instead, it would be life would be a lot easier.
Yeah, well, there would be a
I
lot of
think
extra
there's this
space.
new like aqua like like it's water. Like instead of burning them, they like get fermented or whatever in water.
I actually saw, well, I actually heard one of my coworkers. Her mother-in-law passed away. She was really sick. But she when they were like deciding what they were gonna do with her, I think they got her cremated. But there was an option to send your loved ones into outer space. You can send them like orbiting.
In what? Like,
I
how does that work?
What?
I don't know, but
And what does that cost?
like you can send them into like forever orbit. But then think about that.
But how does
Why?
that work?
Bodies floating in outer space? Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna definitely have to look this topic up because how do they get up there? They would have to put a dead body in like a space shuttle and then like get up to outer space and kick the body out.
And what do you call that? Orbital sleep? Like orbital rest?
I don't know. I was just told it's an option.
I would rather
Like you
be
can send them
mulch.
to the deep depth darks of the sea, or you can send them into outer space, or you can get them buried.
I'll just go with being the mulch option that Carly.
Yeah, cremate me, throw me in a bag of mulch, plant me with a tree. I don't really care, but don't
That's
don't
interesting.
make me feel special because I'm taking up fucking wasted space in a
And certainly don't
cemetery.
send me into orbit. Like I get sent into orbit almost daily. It feels like sometimes.
Are you
Like
looking it up, Carly?
don't send my remains into orbit.
No.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me.
Okay, AI says yes, dead people can go to outer space instead of being buried, largely through memorial space flights that launch cremated remains, ashes, into orbit onto the moon or into deep space. While launching a whole body is not currently standard, sending symbolic remains is an active service offered by companies like Celestis.
Oh.
So you
So
it
you
says
get
you're
cremated
yeah, you
first.
get cremated first, not just a body.
Okay. I
But
was
then you can get
Can
picturing
you imagine?
sent into
I
outer
was
space.
I was just
But like that funeral cost? Like you have to call NASA? and tell them, hey, Becky needs taken to outer space.
Yeah, like, are they doing this, like, on a daily
Yeah,
basis?
like
Like,
we
is this
do it.
somebody's job to take
Like I'd rather be turned into a firework.
Oh, me too. That would be
Wouldn't that
fun.
be fun?
That would be fun.
Like 3, 2, 1, lift off. Fuck that. Don't put me in a spaceship and send me into orbit. Make a firework out of me. That'd
Yes.
be cool.
That would be
And
cool.
it's totally plausible because
You could
your
definitely do that.
ashes.
Your ashes. Yeah, just put them into a firework.
Yeah. Light me up on the 4th of July, bitch. One firework every year.
Yeah, because I've already came back as a giraffe, so I'm in Africa munching on something good in the African desert, living my best life. So, I don't care what you do with my body, my physical body that I've left behind in this life form.
Yeah. I just feel like having a body is just so useless.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you've talked to people that like bury people for a living, like my friend's boyfriend who like works for he buries people, like it's actually disgusting when they have to like dig up bodies again. So like your body goes into a vault
Mhm.
inside of the casket. So like you're in the casket and then your body goes into a that casket goes into a vault.
Yes.
You like leak fluid. Like if you've
Yeah.
ever like dug up a I know you've never dug up a casket, but like when you have
How do
to
you
dig up a
know? No, I'm just kidding.
when you have to dig up a casket, it's like gross. Like it's human decomposing in the vault. Like that's disgusting.
Yes. So, we are, like, way off our original topic, but I'm totally cool with it. But way back in the day, probably, like, George Washington's grandma's day, um, they used to bury when they would bury people, like, in a casket, they'd have a string that was attached to a bell, and the bell would sit, like, outside the grave
I've heard this.
in case you were buried alive,
I've
because
heard
that's
this.
happened.
Yeah,
Because, like, the whole embalming process and all of that didn't
didn't exist.
exist.
But how did they not know you were dead? I mean, did you have a pulse or not,
Y
Janet?
yeah. Was that George Washington's great-grandma's name?
I'm gonna say so.
Okay, Janet.
Okay, while you all were discussing that, I was very intrigued in this going to outer space thing. And it typically costs between $2,500. This is again according to AI, and $13,000.
How is that such a broad spectrum?
I know I'm not
That's kind of a
not really
huge
quite sure. Um, from suborbital flights to lunar burials, I don't really know. But it is kind of cool because I was looking at this company. It's called Beyond Burials, and they're a whole company that does that. And they obviously offer you going to space, but then like it has like a kind of cool part to it because then like when you see like a shooting star you could be like, oh, that's Janet or whatever.
That's Aunt Janet.
Yeah. Yeah, so like because like the stars have their own meaning and stuff, so like it kind of ties into that, so it is kind of cool. I mean, and I guess I'd rather that than your body sitting somewhere, so
Yeah, I would rather that too, but I think I'd still go back to you could just make me mulch, that's fine.
If you want to send yourself into outer space, all the power to you. But the whole shooting star thing, that doesn't make sense if you're cremated. Because like things burn up in Earth's atmosphere. That's how meteors work. So I would just be like, is that Janet's burning body coming towards Earth?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy to think about. So, let's go back to reincarnation.
Okay, back about 20 minutes.
Seriously, back about 20 minutes. How do you feel about it? Do we come back as something else?
I mean, I have given. I mean, our conversation yesterday. I have like I think it's viable, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it's 100% what happens. But
Right.
how else do you explain some of the things that happen
Yep,
in terms of like remembering things?
I agree.
I definitely agree. I think it's crazy though that it is something that science will never be able to figure out,
No.
and I love that part of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for science. I'm not hating on science, obviously. Like shooting yourself to the moon, we need NASA for that. But whatever. So it is really fun to me that it is something so almost sacred that science is never going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. And I'm with you guys on
It's
that.
a belief thing, and but it's still there's enough evidence, as we know, with little kids saying
Like,
what they
where does this come
say,
from?
that there's something to be said about it, but there's nothing to prove it.
Right.
So it's just all in your head. It's all in belief.
Yeah. And that's what makes it fun is that we don't really know.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
like this topic. It was fun.
This was definitely fun. So with that, it's been real life. It's been definitely some real laughs and real therapy, as it always is with you two for me. Um, and we hope you join us again next time.
See ya.